All right, everybody. On your marks, get set. Get set. Let's go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another installment, yet another edition of Work Your Career Wednesday. As always, I'm Brad Clark. I'm thrilled, honored, and blessed that you have decided to join us today. And there's a few things that are different with the set. We're, doing different things, expanding the set. You can't really see much in there, but we're going to be doing some different stuff and I don't know, hopefully improving it a little bit. But anyway, it's fun to do. And I don't know, hope you enjoy it because I'm enjoying it. It's great. Anyway, guys, thanks for stopping by. What a wacky world we live in. Okay. And, it's getting wackier by the millisecond. You know what's funny? I was in an X space last night, and people were really upset about some things that didn't come out, the lists that are non-existent, and all sorts of things. And I talked to them about the fact that, oh, and by the way, I think X on a lot of these social media platforms are kind of designed just to keep you enraged, right? To keep you, and I think the theys are trying to make sure that we stay enraged, but disengaged. It's what they call the Bubba factor, right? What we're seeing on one side is really the Bubba factor, where cities are, there's things happening in cities. There's a lot of things transpiring that are really detrimental, not only to the neighborhood, but to the people that are actually doing it, right? And everybody's cause is different in these things. But that's a Bubba factor, believe it or not. So what they're doing, protesting and all of that, that is the Bubba factor on steroids for one side. The other side's super engaged, want to change the world, want to restore the country or make it great for the first time. It just depends on your perspective, right? And so, anyways, people were super ticked off. And I said, people are so tired of being lied to. They just are. They're tired of what they see as betrayal. They're tired of things that were promises made by people in power, and when it comes to things that we think should happen, they're not kept, right? People are very upset. And I said that goes into the realm of hiring. Went through a year and a half, 2 years of fake jobs, what I call ghost posts, right? And the workforce is tired. They don't believe anything. There was a guy on LinkedIn submitted his resume 3,000 times. 3,000 times. Who does that? That I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that before. Even a new grad back in the 2000s would complain, be like, man, I submitted my resume 100 times, man. Or not even that much. 30 times, 20 times, right? People are tired. They're disillusioned. And then you have recruiters that will go on to, let's say, LinkedIn, and they will actually make TikTok videos about the tedious nature of taking notes, and the way they do it, it is tedious. It's terrible. They go on, oh, okay, yeah, okay. Can you repeat that? Okay, great. And it's like they're a scribe. You know, I would teach sourcers to do that. And I would teach them at the beginning. I would tell them to do that because I wanted them to absorb the story. And then they got so good that they could listen and actually have a conversation and then write down highlights. But it's the equivalent of like residents, when they first get to, like, say, the ER, making them do what's called scut work, charts and billing or whatever. Maybe not billing, but, charts and stuff like that. Stuff that nobody wants to do, called documentation, right? We are doing a part 2 today with Mark Licke. Mark and I, and if you haven't seen the first one, I really encourage you to see the first one. But hold on, I got to get some coffee. He's so good, I have to make sure I'm energized. Listen, Mark and I have talked, for over a year about him coming on. He finally did. And I think we're going to do a whole series with Mark. Why not? This guy, the points that he brought up are points that I've been talking about for that 2 years. These are fundamentals that recruiters need to understand. You do not recruit for the need, you recruit for the pain. And if you don't have an eye toward the future, I'm telling you, your client won't either. Sometimes part of this job is telling your client, yes, the one that's paying you the money, they are a CEO at whatever they're a CEO in. They're an expert, an SME at driving business and making money, right? You're a CEO of hiring. You should be an expert at hiring. I don't want to hear about how your client drug their feet. No. Now, here's the deal. If they drag their feet after you've consulted with them, after you've said, and there's ways to say it, and maybe, Mark and I can get into that, but there's ways to say it that will set you up for success. But here's the thing. If you're not an SME, but you are you're an expert at making TikTok videos, I would say you're probably in the wrong job. Putting that out on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, LinkedIn, all you're telling your potential candidate is that you truly don't care, and the company that's paying you to find that candidate, they don't care either. They're looking for a warm body in a cold seat. And if that's the case, good luck, companies. Good luck, clients. Good luck. I hope you make it out. I hope I really do. I hope you figure it out and make sure that you see all of your positions filled. But I think you're going to be you must really love attrition. You must really love that pain of having to fill these jobs all the time. After you get lucky, put that warm body in the cold seat, and guess what? Boom, they're gone when a real recruiter calls them and takes your whole team. That's the reality. And you know what? That real recruiter that it'll probably be a TA that got out of the agency world because they know how to take a whole team. Yes, I did that. I left one just so she could tell the tale. No, I left one because they didn't want to be known as the company that takes whole teams. My argument was, why not? That just shows you how awesome we are. Anyway, I digress. My guest today is a guy who has put thousands of people to work over a 25-year period or more. This guy's no joke. And if I were you, and if I was a recruiter listening to this, watching this podcast, I would hang on every word he says. Please, ladies and gentlemen, make welcome my guest, the managing director of Entoo, Mr. Mark Licke.
How are you doing? That's quite a box you left me to unpack.
Look, man, here's the thing. I'm absolutely tired of it. I am absolutely tired of it. Here, we can do this. We can do this view, or we can do that view. Either one. Maybe that one, because I want people to get it. I want them to see your face and your eyes, man. I'm so tired of this, bro. I am tired of it. I am tired of going, and they have thousands of views. They have hundreds of people. They have recruiters. If I was in the business watching this, I would either comment, "Are you high?" or I wouldn't. I mean, I'm watching it, so I'm going to give them the view, but I wouldn't give them the engagement. It's absolutely ridiculous. I can't believe, is it funny? Yeah, it is hilarious. If you're taking notes like that and you're essentially a scribe, and the person that is that's being interviewed, the candidate, they're talking about how great they are and what they've accomplished. They don't know how to interview either, but they're not supposed to know how to interview, honestly.
Right.
Somebody needs to tell them, because they're not going to get the job, because that scribe isn't telling them, listen, man, when you talk to the client, you need to have a conversation with them, or get to know the candidate, so that when you do give them the piece of advice that's going to get them the job, I don't know, they'll listen. But they're not going to listen to a syllable. Well, they're not going to listen to a syllable if all you're doing is doing what that video really stuck in my craw. And the thing is that, and the reason is, it's got millions of video. Well, it's got millions of views,
right?
And it's absolute. And the people there, I swear, LinkedIn has become like this. Nobody wants to say what's really on their mind.
Can't.
So it's always flowery. That is so funny. Oh my gosh, I love that. When it's just really harmful,
We're in a day where everybody says they want the truth until you give it to them. They don't really want the truth, and they penalize you for being honest.
And the
because
truth
they're
and
afraid
honesty,
somebody's watching.
Well, and they should be, because they are. The thing is, truth and honesty doesn't have to be nasty.
No. You see people out there say, I'm just brutally honest. It's like, yeah, but are you in it for the honesty, or are you in it for the brutality? Right. There are ways of being honest.
I love that.
Without beating somebody to death with it. Right.
Right.
But you do have to be upfront about what you do. I mean, and by upfront, I don't mean, 100% transparent. I mean, depending on what your business is or what your industry is, you
can be transparent. But
but you can only.
We're talking about
so
company. Yeah, but we're talking about two different things in that regard. We're not talking about giving away company secrets.
No.
What we're doing is telling them what the job is, what's expected of. Look, when I was at Immubit, they were really, or not they, but companies were really trying to figure out, what it was that they needed to do to hire more people, to attract more people, because everybody, I mean, COVID's over. They got jobs. They're good to go, And so the idea of interviewing the VPs, the directors, the line managers, and then the inventor, and then the CEO, it drove our applicant traffic through the roof.
Mhm.
It was honest. It was, this is who you're going to be working for. Do you think
Right.
you can get along with them? Great. If you can't, move on.
Well, it's funny, when you watch, some of the recruitment commentary out there, whether it be, the in-house folks or the agency folks, we won't call them the outhouse again. Um,
I
the
like that.
the idea that the people that are working, in-house are doing nothing but, posting ads and waiting, and the people at an agency don't post ads and they don't wait. Now, both of those things are untrue in its entirety, right? I mean, there's
Okay.
some pretty good stalking TAs out there that'll go find you,
It's
right?
very
But on
good.
the other side of it, there's a lot of agencies out there that are also posting, because you want to appeal to the largest audience possible, cast as many nets and put as many lines in the water as you can.
Yeah.
Where it gets to be really weird for me is the quality of the job descriptions themselves. I mean, if I don't care where you are, if you're in a company or if you're in an agency and you write a terrible, you know, job description or a job ad, nobody's going to apply to it. It's just awful. And if you're an agency posting really awful job ads, what are you actually saying to the candidates that's better or different than the awful job ad, right? I mean, what's
Yeah.
your message? I mean, is that your brand? I mean, are you just throwing it out there hoping for the best? That's what you accuse people of, from the agency to the talent acquisition folks. You
Right.
accuse them of doing that, but if as you go through and you look at job postings, you'll come across some really well written ones where it's like, man, I wish I did that. I'd apply. I might apply anyway. It's that good. But then you see the other ones that are just awful, and you're like, okay, I'm going to call whoever wrote that and just say, hey, I know somebody that can write way better than whoever did that. Maybe
Yeah.
hire them.
Chat GPT.
Exactly, because there's nothing wrong with the company, your job, or anything like that, but nobody's going to be interested in it because your post is awful, right?
Well,
So, what are you going to do to fix it?
I think, excuse me. I think
I'm
one of the
glad on it.
things that companies don't understand, and that is, and really that's from marketing to the CEO, is
Mhm.
that, look, any company is going to be hiring at any given time, right?
Right.
That your first interaction with the public, with your company reaching out,
Mhm.
is the recruiter. They're treating, or TA, and that goes for agency too.
Right.
I mean, almost as they're not mutually exclusive.
Mhm.
Your first interaction with the public is that TA, is that recruiter.
Right.
It's paramount that recruiters, talent acquisition, headhunters, headhunters do get it, but
Mhm.
that they understand that the marketing, let's say you want to call it that,
Right.
is 1000% wrapped up in the recruiter. And if the recruiter sounds like they don't know what they're talking about,
Right.
or that they don't want to be there, or they're a scribe and they're taking notes, and all, if the recruiter, the TA, doesn't feel as though they're part of the overall solution to the growth of this company, whatever it is,
Yep.
and if you're not making them feel that way, they're going to be the scribe. But if you make them understand that, look, you're a vital part of the growth of this company and not a necessary evil,
Mhm.
I think things would change. But a lot of
People are
companies
all
are,
worried about AI and stuff taking their jobs and in recruiting, and
no,
they're tools and they should be used
they're
like
just
tools.
tools. That's
Right.
all they are. They're just tools.
But
That's
they're
it.
great tools. And one of the things that that they're really good at is that scribing. I mean, if you're going to be talking to a lot of people, and you don't have time to sit and go, uh huh, uh huh. what was that? Or doing that, or like, and then you can't read your own notes when you're entering them in. Invest in a few tools to to take the notes for you.
You know what else AI is great for? Ferreting out BSers.
Oh yeah.
And what I mean by that is, so a friend of mine, one of the best in the business, works on some very, pretty complex uh, data jobs, right?
Mhm.
And so there's a list of questions that he tells them either he's going to ask them or he's going to send them and have them send them back.
Right.
Then the AI will tell them if they know what they're talking about. Also, there's a question or an equation that he wants them to solve, and the AI will tell them if they used AI to solve it.
Right.
And I mean, it's brilliant.
It's almost like a
And
sucker punch.
oh man, well,
You
and the
know?
thing is that he has to work with a lot of third parties.
Right.
He has to. And so, and we all know that, Prince William, I don't know if you noticed, but Prince William and Prince Harry are working, they're looking for jobs, especially Prince Harry, and they're on the job boards going through third party companies.
Yeah. Hell
So
yeah.
so you're right. So he uses AI to ferret that out and to make sure that they're on the up and up. But
That's funny. I
anyway,
also
yeah.
saw last week that Oprah Winfrey and Kamala Harris were looking for work. The
I want to
LinkedIn
dive into
scam
that.
bots.
I want to dive into that. Yes. The scam bots. Oh, I
Oh my
would love it.
God. They
But
just steal pictures and put them out there, and it's like, come on, man.
what's funny? I got a pretty cool get that's actually gotten me in some trouble, but I got her because I was being scammed on TikTok.
Hmm.
They said it was her. They said it was this influencer, and we were talking about the president's economic plan and what the ramifications were for it worldwide,
Okay.
and it was all scam. It was all scam. So I contacted her on X and I said, "Hey, am I talking to you about the economic plan? The proposed plan?"
Yeah.
She said, "Absolutely not." And so
Somebody else.
I said, "Well, we're talking now, so you want to come on my show?" And she ended up coming on my show. It was kind of cool.
Right.
But anyway, I digress. So, man, I don't know if I want to make this show about giving recruiters you know a, no. We live in a time where if you tell them they're doing something wrong, then they're like boomer. And then
Yeah.
you know and honestly, I'm getting to a point where I really don't care if they're doing something wrong, because eventually they're going to go find something else to do.
Right.
Do anything. Go dig a ditch. Probably too much. Do something else besides dealing with the public.
Right.
You're not good at it.
It's
Maybe
it's
good at
funny,
making videos, but
it's kind of funny. I mean, and I've commented on a number of posts, where they were kind of, and they're not all recruiters. I mean, it's kind of everything, right? I mean, we're in an age where everybody wants everything put out on the internet. They want to know the how-tos and the what fors, and they want you to
right,
tell them what the secret sauce is, like online, so they don't have to either hire you, pay you, whatever. And that doesn't work in recruiting. It doesn't work in creative writing. It doesn't work in a lot of things, right?
right,
You can suggest, or you can show, this is how I do it, or this is what I've observed, and here's some receipts for you. And you still get
mm-hmm.
called, people call you a liar for, even when you bring the receipts. It's like, no, man, I took these off of your website. you know so maybe you want to go talk to the guy that did it, I don't know, but or
Right,
hire somebody to do it. I know a guy, right? But we're at that point where everything should be free, right? That's what everybody thinks, and but we're also at a dangerous point with like the AI stuff where companies are seeing value in the tools to replace interns and junior level resources. But the AI hasn't advanced to the point where it can replace them entirely, but it can only replace some of what they do. And you're going to discourage people from pursuing careers because their internships were blocked because of AI, and we're going to be donut holing, the job market in a number of places because at some point you got to hire a body to come in and do the work, right? I mean, you hear everybody talk about like AI still requires human oversight, but where is the tipping point on that? I mean, you can't keep pushing your interns off because you bought a new tool, right? You got to massage the tool to get what you need, but you have to do it in a way that's responsible for your own self, growth. And I mean,
Preservation.
right? I mean, a company's
You
not going
know,
to be able to grow beyond, where they are if they can't hire anybody or if no one exists to come in and hire. They're
did you
reluctant to
hear?
train. They're reluctant to
Did
spend money on it.
mhm.
So,
Did you hear about the AI that just recently was replicating itself,
mhm,
and then so they threatened to turn the AI off. So
mhm,
they're reasoning with this AI. They're
right?
saying, "Don't do it, or we're going to turn you off. We're going to pull the plug."
And it blackmailed them.
And it blackmailed them,
I did read that. It has access to all of your
bro.
notes, all of your email, all of your weird conversations with your weird buddies. You know what I mean? And
Bro,
it'll
I
blackmail
I
you.
me- I messed up and I said, well, because I mean, there's nothing on my phone at all,
Right.
but I gave it access. I never give them full access to anything, and I pressed the allow, you know, access to my
Mhm.
pictures, and I'm like, they're super boring, but I shouldn't have done that. I
Right.
should not have done that. I couldn't believe I did it, but I did it, and I don't know, you know. Again, another Immubit story. That technology that's is brilliant,
Mhm.
absolutely brilliant.
And
We
it should
go
scare the
into a
crap out of
refinery.
everybody.
It's powerful. We go into a
Mhm.
to a refinery, and we would take 5 years worth of data, and I think this usually took about 3 months to do. And that 5 years of data really went over the entirety of the operations for that refinery. Thing
Mhm.
is that every refinery is different because every place it's in is different, and they have a menagerie of systems from different manufacturers. Like, they have five, 3 or 4 different SCADAs. You have one that's Allen Bradley. You got another one that's Honeywell or whatever. There's they're all made by different people. So, but they all talk to each other with doing a specific function,
Mhm.
what it's designed to do. But we would take this data, and we would, when it was done, we turn on the bot. The bot would have all this data to the extent that it not only had a personality, it also had an intuition. My God, you know.
Well, what passed for an intuition?
Well, when I was being recruited for them, I thought it was BS. I thought,
Mhm.
oh, somebody's trying to scam me, and I was like, there's no way this is real.
Right.
Now, this is back in 2021 or two, I think. And it's funny to think about 20, just, you know, 8 years ago. I mean, 2016 does not feel like it was 9 years ago.
Right.
I mean, am I alone? Do you feel that way? Like, if it just
Mm.
doesn't feel that long ago.
Now, when somebody tells you that the music you listen to is 40 years old, you're like, when did that happen?
When did that happen? Right,
You
exactly.
know?
I mean, like Metallica. Somebody was
Mhm.
on TikTok and live streamed the Metallica show in Levi Stadium,
Oh,
San Mateo, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. The last time I saw Metallica was at Candlestick Park during, I think it was called the Monsters of Rock tour.
mhm.
Powerman 5000 was there. Kid Rock was there. I saw his show, and I saw Metallica's show, but I'd already seen Metallica 2 or 3 times before. First time, and all of my Bay Area viewers and listeners will love this, was at the Shoreline Amphitheater in San Jose. And it was fantastic. I digress. That was 2000. When was that? I think, let's see, 2002, maybe?
Mhm.
Two or
But
three?
but people don't realize, especially newer people to Metallica or even some of the heavy metal that we grew up on. I mean, they were playing in the 80s.
They were rehearsing when I
Oh,
was a little kid.
mhm.
They had, I guess they had moved up to the Bay Area. I thought they were from the Bay Area, but they moved up from LA. And there was oh God, it was the frontage road coming out of Albany. And it was a road that went, there was a freeway on ramp, and then there was a road that went all the way, oh gosh, to Carlson, I think. Not Carlson. Anyway, I'm thinking of Richmond. Anyway, there was like a you go down the road to the right, there's a gas station, and there's a furniture store called Bruner's. And they used to rehearse in the garage of that
Mhm.
gas station, and it was like an off-brand cheap gas station, and they would rehearse in that. And I remember hearing, and my grandfather was a country musician, and he was like, "What's that crap?"
Yeah.
I'm like, what is that?
Speed metal.
you know, I mean, that was like in 82,
Right?
3, something
Right.
like that. I mean,
Early 80s.
geez, it's just, I don't know. But
Yeah.
I
Ozzy
never
was
thought
big. Metallica was getting big, But
Ozzy
I mean,
was biting the heads off of birds
right?
and bats at that point.
Exactly. Right.
I never thought in a million years that I would see a meme that said, um, you wake up, everything's been a dream, and it's 1995. No phones, or no cell phones. We had cell phones. I mean, come on, what is this? We had cell phones.
Right. In the 90s, yeah.
Yeah, come on. You know, you had cell phone. So no cell phones, no internet. We had internet. It was
Mhm.
just a phone book. That's all it
Well,
was. It was a phone
yeah.
book, and it looked really cheesy for the most
Yep.
part. Um,
But
but
the
anyway,
internet existed in the 80s. It
internet
just happened
existed
to
in the
be
80s. Well,
dial
Al
up,
Gore invented it.
right? And pants. Um,
I mean, I don't know if
but
people
I
know
mean,
that,
it
but
was what, 2400 baud dial up, and you had to take the handset and press it into those big old suction cuppy things. And
yep.
but yeah, that was yep. Got the carrier tones. Yep, that was
Right.
it.
But
But I mean, what we're looking
it
at,
said all, but wait. It said all of these things, and it said it was a simpler time. Simpler time. There
uh,
was nothing simple about the 90s.
not
There
really.
was nothing simple about it. I mean,
Not really.
give me a break. We were we were trying to find a war that we could, protest against.
Mhm.
Everybody was trying to find a cause. Berkeley High School, there was they had somebody had done a mural, really beautiful mural. Not hyper realism, but 3D realism in
Mhm.
their school. And they had a protest because they were protesting the white gods that were on Berkeley High's walls in the hallway. Dude, dude.
We're
Dude,
still
I mean, you're
protesting
a
crap like
school. You're a
that.
school, man.
Right?
Could it
They're
be
still protesting
Play-Doh?
stuff
Could it
like that.
be who did?
Mascots. I said we're still protesting stuff like that today.
Oh my
Mascots,
gosh.
right? I mean, we've
It's
got one going on here in Minnesota.
ridiculous.
I mean, Red Wing, the Red Wing Wolves, I think is what they are, or something like that. But they don't like the name Red Wing. Some group is in there trying to get them to do something different about it. It's the name of a town. It was named after an Indian chief, right? Chief Red Wing. And so it's very historic. But they attack everything, right? I mean,
Well, but this
it
was
doesn't
going
matter
on in the
what
90s.
generation, we're going to attack something.
We were desperate to find something that would rival what our parents did, or what we thought our parents did.
Or
And
maybe it's
so
true.
anyway,
People just aren't happy unless they're complaining about something. I don't know.
yeah, it could be. It
But
could
you
be.
think about it,
I
the music stuff and what we do for a living.
Yeah.
We're doing the same things today as what we were doing when we started listening to Metallica. That's how stagnant our industry is. The
Well,
mentality around it, the lessons,
it's
right?
it's
The
it's
weird
it's
phone
it's so
calls and the
funny.
and the and the leverage stuff. It's like, man. And people wonder why they can't get somebody to call them back.
Oh, please. They're not doing that. They're sending a text. How many text messages have I gotten that are so absolutely ridiculous
Right.
that I'm just like, I really want to teach you how to be better at this. There's a point where I had to adjust and start. If I couldn't get them on the phone, I'd send a text. But what kind of
Right.
text am I going to send? I'm going to send the same. It's the same message I told them
Same
over the
message.
phone.
Right.
I'm not going to tell them, "Oh my living Lord." So I saw a physical. I mean, so it's hard enough,
Right.
being. A, I'm an HR director, but you could also call me a CHRO, and I'm a recruiter too. I'm doing all of it, right?
Right.
Happily, because it's awesome. And I'm not just saying that. I love this company. But here's the deal. I go onto Reddit because I want to find the sort of the pulse, because it's like one extreme or the other, right?
Right.
And they won't let you recruit. It's so funny. A lot of them are complaining about the fact that they can't find work. And I'm like, I'm right here. I'm right here, and but Reddit or whoever mods it will, if I mention that I have an open job rec, they
Right.
block me. It's like, my God, man.
Right.
So do you want them to be unemployed? Like, do you want them like, you know what I mean? Like, it's
You're
so
trying to help, and they
I'm
prevent you
trying
from
to
helping.
help.
Right.
It's unbelievable, man. And so anyway, but after seeing this text, you know what, when I run this through the AI clip thing,
Yeah.
I hope it clips this. I really do. I hope it clips the stories. I'm going to post it on Reddit. Here's the thing. Somebody, a recruiter from some company or some hospital system in South Carolina texted this PT and just like everything. Hey, I got this job. It starts at this and this and that and da 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 da. And they have, in terms of the bonuses and the tuition reimbursement, they throw the kitchen sink. She was upset at the low base. Totally get it. But here's the thing. Why in the world are you sending a text with anything having to do with money?
Right.
Are you stupid?
Because they're
I'm like,
afraid to have the conversation.
oh my God.
That's
Get them
why.
on the phone. See what their pain is. If you're
Right.
throwing that much money at a bonus, I guarantee you can come up a little bit on the base.
Right.
I mean, talk to them, get a relationship. She posted the entire interaction, not only his initial text, but her response. And she, honestly, it's candidates or candidates. It doesn't matter what industry they're in, bro. She eviscerated this kid. And I call him a kid because there's no way in hell this guy is an experienced recruiter or TA.
Right.
No way. Absolutely none.
Yeah.
And not only did she call out the name of his company, this is where, man, it's like all bets are off as far as I'm concerned, because all bets are off with them. She put the name of his company and his phone number in this Reddit post.
Reddit. Yep. The guy's going to need his phone number. He's going to need.
I almost feel like calling him and saying, "Hey, buddy, do you need help?"
Right.
Like, why would you do that?
Lessons,
That's what I'm saying. Like lessons, not help filling his job. But lessons.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I was commenting on somebody else's post the other day that companies don't like to see people like me. They don't want us to look underneath the covers. They don't want us to pop the hood on their process, right? Because you can see if it's busted. I mean, and everybody talks about the broken hiring, right? And that's too broad a term. Not every hiring's exactly which one is broken, which company, which process. You have to go look. It's kind of like what we talked about in the last one. You can't show up with a solution. You have to talk to somebody and find out what the problem is before you can even begin to offer a solution, right? But you can see symptoms of things that are maybe not right or maybe broken, and you got to go in and do a little bit of investigating. Take a look and see. And
I've never had a problem. I've never had a problem with a CEO, in particular, a CEO. Mm-hmm. Usually the ones that are lower, they're scared.
Right.
But I always get the information. I've never had a problem with a company telling me what's going on. I mean, a lot of them never needed never needed to sign an NDA because my reputation was stellar. Mm-hmm. I kept their secrets. I didn't need to spread their business around town. What am I trying to do? Tank their stock price?
Right.
Like I operated and still do, obviously, but when I was in the agency world, I always operated with integrity, and I made amazing amounts of money. That's the thing that I think people don't get. If you want to take a shortcut for short term and you're working on a big deal and it's like a $50,000 fee and that's what you're going to hang your hat on for the next 20 years, bro, stop it. That does not need to be an event. That needs to be a common occurrence, especially if you're dealing with people making over 150,000. And I mean, if you're closing deals where the base is around 350, then talk to me, right? But that's not to say you negate or don't work on the ones that are gonna give you a $5,000 fee. You work on those too, and those are typically harder. But but the thing is and the point to this comment is I never had a problem with a company telling me what's going on, why they haven't been able to fill it, giving them suggestions on fixing it. It was usually an HR person that was being HR, and because they didn't know how to recruit. That's the thing. It's pretty simple. You got to be able to talk to people. You got to be able to discern what they're saying. You got to read between the lines. And really, you have to, when you're talking to someone, you have to see if that person is going to match what's going on at that company. But you're never going to know unless whoever your client is opens up to you. I never had a problem with that. And over the years, clients have told me some pretty amazing stuff. Some of it's super damning. Some of it is, here's what our new tech is. Check this out. We haven't told anybody yet. And they would show me a demo of their new thing. the point is I was an SME at what I did. I'm an expert at hiring. That's what I'm an expert in. In order for me to get the right person, what do you do? What's your pain? And why in the hell are you talking to me? You should be able, right? You should have been able with your team. You should have been able to fill these jobs every day of the week and twice on Sunday. Why in the world are we talking? I'm glad we're talking, but why are we talking?
Getting to the bottom of that
They're
is
glad to
a
pay the
challenge.
fee. No,
Well, getting to the bottom of the
it's not a
why is a
challenge.
challenge. Sure it is.
Well,
They're afraid to admit that they might have a problem. I mean, if they had no problems whatsoever, they wouldn't talk to you. They would have no need to talk to you. We fix stuff. The only reason they're talking to you is because something's broken. Go back to your Rolls Royce analogy from the last time. You had a
1,000%.
Rolls. It was busted. You didn't know where it was busted. You needed to hire somebody to come in and take a look at it. It's the same thing with companies, right? And if you're in a leadership position and you're responsible for all that stuff, a lot of times they just don't want to acknowledge or admit that there's a problem. If they don't admit there's a problem, it means that they can claim that they're unaware of a problem, which means they don't have to address the problem. Right. So, and that's a people problem everywhere, right? I mean, if I don't acknowledge it, it doesn't exist. If it doesn't exist, I don't have to deal with it. The problem,
I got to tell you, I didn't work with those companies. If I got pushback like that, then I would say, you know what, you and I know we can't work, and I tell them why. And then if they continued to be that person or that sort of closed off, I would give them to somebody else.
Yeah. But as you're prospecting, looking for business, and you're trying to look for those problems, right, that you can solve. I mean, if there's no problem, there's no reason to engage with somebody like me or like you, right, from the outside.
Yeah, that's right.
You have to find a problem. There has to be something for you to fix, right? And when you start looking at the history of their hiring, for example, how many positions seem to languish and have birthdays? I mean, how many people are in there trying to fill your roles that have less experience than I have time taking vacation, right? I mean, I've had vacations longer than some of these people have careers. You know what I mean? So, well, I'm just saying, but it doesn't mean they're bad people. It just means that they're inexperienced in the job, and you might have an issue there, right?
Yeah.
But you have to be able to find it from the outside looking in and be able to engage with somebody to talk about it, right? Yeah. And a lot of places don't want to acknowledge it. They don't want to admit it, or they know there's a problem, but it's working for them, because if they slow roll their hires, they're not spending money, right? And oh, sure, they wouldn't do that, would they? Slow roll hire?
Never. They never do that. Nobody ever sandbag it. Nobody would ever do that. You would never have a hiring manager not hire a candidate because they were threatened by the candidate. You'd never have that. They always hire the right person and the right thing in the right time.
Because you would never have someone do that. Everybody believes that you should hire the best, smartest people that you can and get out of their way.
That's exactly right. Exactly right.
That's
true, another thing.
But not everybody believes it.
Oh my gosh, it actually happens. I worked at a company years ago, and I was working with the controller or assistant controller, and we were talking to we were trying to fill some accounting roles, and he says, I mean, I thought he was joking, Mark. I really did. I thought I laughed when he said this. He goes, I said, well, what about I can't remember her name, say Rosalie. What about Rosalie? I mean, she is perfect for this. Like, literally, like, we need to give her an offer tomorrow. He goes, yeah, she's really good. I mean, I think she's probably better than me. I said, well, maybe. She is super good. Like, and I think she'd be a really good team player. Still not computing. I'm not getting it because I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe this conversation is happening.
Right.
He goes, yeah. He goes, I'm going to pass on her.
I
went,
good.
What? He said, well, I mean, she's really good. I'm afraid she's going to take my job. And I went, no, man, that's fine. No, let's get her in. Let's have her talk to so-and-so. He goes, no, No, Brad, I'm serious. I'm serious.
Yeah.
She's too good.
It happens. They hate to admit it, you know,
Oh
because
my
that would be,
gosh.
who would do that? Who would do that, right?
Who would do that?
Who would do
I
that?
thought he was joking, bro. I really did. I laughed
He said it out
I did it.
loud.
He said it out loud, man.
You know,
He literally did. He said, no, me. He said, she's too good. I think, she could probably take my job.
right?
Bro, I'm going to pass. And I laughed. I was like, oh, that's funny, man. He goes, no, I'm serious. Like, seriously. He goes, no, Brad, I'm serious. I couldn't believe it, man. I couldn't believe it. I
Yeah.
could not believe it.
Like I
And
said, at least he said it out loud. I mean, how often have you run into that where they wouldn't say it out
never.
loud, but you
Well,
suspected it, right? I mean,
that's the thing. There's all of these rumors and suspicions that, agency folks have. And the funny part is what I found it working on the inside, when I was doing contract, is that suspicion is correct a lot of times. Some of it's a
yeah,
little conspiracy theory territory, but a lot of that stuff. Oh, I mean, gosh, Mark, why didn't they hire Candace? I think she's too good. And nah, man, they wouldn't do that.
right.
Mm-hmm. She's too good. I'm telling you, it happens. It happens all the time. I haven't seen it so much in engineering,
Right.
but and it usually happens to the greatest people, to the nicest people. It's really insane, and I could not
Remember
believe
back to
that
our
happened.
other one, where we were talking about companies hire who they like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it fits in there. I mean,
Oh
if
yeah.
they're afraid of you, for whatever reason, they're not going to hire you. You could
Right.
have the best skills in the world. I was chatting with a guy this morning. We were talking about somebody who has a lot of turnover in their area, and it's about the delivery, right? And the person that's in this seat is probably not a good culture fit. Because
Mm-hmm.
culture fit is real. It's got nothing to do with ethnicity. It's just about how well you get
It's a
along
big
with the
deal.
team
That's right.
and how you can deliver, right? So you've got a person that's like managing a group of people that they don't. It's this,
Yeah.
So these people are quitting because the person, but they're highly skilled, you know. But it's unfortunate, But everybody wants it to be, it's that whole kumbaya thing, I mean, why can't we all get along? The other problem, you run into is the way people deliver their messages, right? Anymore, everybody thinks they're the star of their own movie, right? They're the
Oh
main
man,
character.
that's so big. Star of
They're the
the
main
That's such a big
character,
deal. That's right.
and you need to change how you deliver your message to me. If you're the boss or the manager, but they put it on everybody else to deliver individual messaging to them personally. And it's like, or you could grow up and realize that you're dealing with like a whole bunch of different kinds of people with a whole bunch of different kinds of backgrounds,
Right.
right? And maybe they don't talk the way you want to hear it. Maybe they do, but what was the message? Let's focus on what they said, not how they said it necessarily, right? It gets into the whole, when something bad, when somebody does something bad to somebody, whatever it is, and the company is outraged at the victim's reaction to what happened. They're more concerned with that person's reaction to what happened to them than they are about what actually caused the reaction. That gets to be a problem too when you start looking at like how do you fit into an organization, right? I mean, so who are you defending? I mean, are you willing to defend the person that affronted this person? But and if you're not, why are you upset by the person who reacted to the one that affronted them? I mean, you've got a victim here, right? You should address the victim, not the one that, take what they said seriously, and it's the same thing for us in recruiting, right? When we're talking to companies and we send a candidate in and we get this odd feedback, right? It's like,
Right.
why are we getting odd feedback? Did the person not have the skills for the job? Yeah, they did.
That part's
Oh,
secondary.
yeah.
I didn't like
Okay.
their shirt. Man,
Okay.
man, we're gonna take a quick break for the audience. It's gonna be like time travel. It's gonna be like, wow,
Here
the
we go
break
again.
was amazing. But we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, I have an idea. Well, let's talk about it during the break. But I got an idea that might be kind of cool. So stay tuned. We will be right back. All right,
Right.
all right, all right. Here we go. We're back. Um, this is gonna be fun, guys. I'm gonna see if I can find some stuff on Reddit. We're gonna cold read it. We're gonna talk about it and see, get opinions. This is what the show Work Your Career Extra was gonna be, but I had to change it because Mark, and I've done shows on this or shorts out there. I couldn't do it when we were developing the show. It got really sad because of all of the ghost posting, all of the fake jobs. Or submitting like I said, there was a lady that submitted her resume over 1,000 times. She got, I think it was 30 some interviews. Out of that 30, she got two that were potential offers. And that
Yep.
was over a year and a half period at that point. And now the job economy is bouncing back, but there's still some things afoot that are happening. There's a
Wow.
guy out there who was on LinkedIn, 3,000 submittals,
How do you
and
feel about the advice that's coming from some of these big career coaches out there that are telling candidates and applicants, pick 5, maybe 10 companies to really focus on and only apply to those companies? It's like, how
I
long do you
mean,
want these people to be out of work?
the career coaches are kind of hilarious. It's like, it's like, what qualifies you to be a career coach? What is it? You know what I mean? Like, what is it that qualifies? Look, this show was designed originally to help people get work
Right.
so they could get into the mind of the leaders, of the people that they would be
Mm.
talking to. The fact is that most CEOs and leaders, we all read the same stuff. Like, we all read the
Right.
same books. So, they're gaining knowledge from podcasts and from just from outside sources now, because all the books have been read. And then, I'm working on a book. I've been working on a book for about 2-3 years now. And I mean, we've had this show for, I couldn't believe it. I went to see what my oldest show was. And I hadn't realized that we started the show in February of 2023. We celebrated 2 years this year.
Huh?
And I didn't even realize it. I
Time
mean,
flies when you're
my
having fun.
time flies, brother. So, I mean, I'm hoping that my book will at least be something different than the rest of them. But, the ghost posting, like I'm telling you, we have like I was saying at the beginning of the show, we have a very tired workforce. We have
Mhm.
people that don't believe anything anymore. And why should
No.
they? You know?
Well, we've made it hard for them, to want to believe it.
Well,
Uh,
no one wants to talk about the great resignation anymore. Nobody wants to talk about it. It's as if it
no.
never happened.
Nope. And
Never
then there's
happened.
the silver tsunami that they were waiting for that's still happening, right? All the boomers are retiring and not
Right.
backfilling fast enough. Oh, yeah.
Well, some of them can't.
Correct.
Some of them literally cannot.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
it's just those Reddit posts got so sad. So when we go on, we're going to cold read a couple of them, and I'm hoping I can find ones that aren't, completely depressing. Cuz I haven't been on it in a couple of weeks,
Are
but
you going to
we'll see.
LinkedIn lunatics or hiring hell, or where are you going?
Recruiting hell.
Recruiting hell.
Recruiting hell on Reddit. I encourage everyone to go to that subreddit. It used to be hilarious.
Yeah.
I did a show called Navigating Recruiting Challenges, and that's what I did. I cold read Reddit posts, and one of them was about a guy who was trying to move back home with his family and like back to his state. And so he gets an interview. They love him. They fly him in. When the recruiter does a great job, the only thing the recruiter did, and I know why this happened, is because the TA couldn't find any spaces, for the interview to happen. So she booked it out for an entire week. I used to think the company flew in the this candidate, but I don't think that's true. I think the recruiting company flew the candidate in. They footed the bill for this interview. And what happened is when he got there, now, by the way, the recruiter did a phenomenal job. Background on the people that he'd be talking to, had the schedule, so the TA was working too, but had the schedule of who he'd be talking to, one individually, then a group, and then they go do a tour. He gets there. It was an 18-minute interview with people that he didn't know.
Right. That's
so what
unfortunate.
happened? Well, what happened? They hired somebody. They, in that spirit, in that length of time, in that week, because TKD, time kills deals,
Yeah.
every time. So what happened was they hired someone and they went ahead because the recruiting company had already bought the ticket. And I bet you they told the recruiting company what was going on. And I bet you the company said, well, all he needs to do is go in and wow him. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it. And what happened? He didn't get a chance to wow him. He talked to two people that he didn't know. And then so he asked them, he goes, well, what happened? I thought, I thought, everything was going to be okay. I mean, you guys wanted to talk to me. And one of the people, I can believe this is what the answer was, said, well, we often do this to see if there's chemistry. Come on, man. Chemistry, you're going to know that on a Zoom call.
To some degree, yeah.
I mean, come on. You're telling me that you waste time and money like this to see if there's come on, man. I mean, if you're going to lie, make it a good one. It's just ridiculous. I mean, anyway. So let's get to these commercial pays and bills. If you have anything, everything, and anything, did I say everything or anything? I don't remember. Anyway, I always do that. Go to White Husky Films. If you have a music video, a commercial, a podcast, go see Steven Saldana at White Husky Films, www.whitehuskyfilms.com. I kid you not, there is even a program that they have going where you can have your business or company or whatever advertised in Times Square. It's unreal. Like, that's pretty neat. We are in the process of doing that. Cannot wait. Work Your Career Wednesday will be advertised in Times Square. Pretty cool. So get in touch with Steven. All you got to do is dream, create, record in that order. And when you choose White Husky, you will be so glad you did. Get this. I'm going to talk about it again. James PT. Go to www.jaynespt.com. Get in touch with me, 713-364-8777. We are still looking. We are on the hunt. We're looking in Baton Rouge. We have expanded again to Baton Rouge. So we're looking for PTs and PTAs in the Lafayette area. So around the Crowley area. If you know where Eber's is, you're going to know where I'm talking about. I love that place. James, I just lost my train of thought because I was thinking about cracklins. Oh my God, I really was. I was like, oh, those things are so good. They make the best BLTs too. But anyway, Eber's, you got to go there. Anyway, so in Crowley, Jennings area, Lafayette area, we're looking for one PT, two PTAs. We're also looking for PTs in Baton Rouge, obviously in NOLA. We are looking for PTs in the New Orleans area, all the shores, by the way. So we can accommodate where you want to go, even all the way up to Covington and all and all that up there, Metairie. We got you covered. We're looking, and see, where's the other one we're looking for? See, Baton Rouge. Anyway, we're looking for a lot of folks. Get in contact with me, okay? Can't wait to talk with you. I'm telling you, Mark, I've worked for some great companies. I really have. I've never worked for a company like Jane's. Casey has really built something over the past, we're going on 10 years now, about to celebrate 10-year anniversary. He's built something that is by far just, let me put it this way. In healthcare, there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that if people knew about, they would be crushed by.
Right.
You have a lot of folks that, again, you have a very tired workforce. You have people that have seen it all. And the thing with Jane's, and it's funny because I when I say this, they're like, well, yeah, you're working for them. Here's the deal. I was not planning on working for anybody. I had my show. Jane's was a sponsor. Awesome. And we were going to go from there. We had just closed on a few other sponsors too. And when we talked, he's like, I need to expand now. I need more PTs. And let me put it this way. We have outperformed the hospital system in our hiring. We have been hiring, and we have hired some awesome people. And I'd like to think that that's because of me. But at the end of the day, it's really because Casey has built something that is really different and unlike anybody that I've seen. And I'm going to career fairs. I'm speaking at universities, meeting folks, and I'm telling you, a lot of these companies they have great people working for them. We're just different, and it's a real pleasure and a real honor to be, back recruiting again, and meeting some wonderful, wonderful people. And the other thing is too is that we find somebody we really like, Mark. We're putting our money where our mouth is. We want to invest in their future as long as they see that they're going to invest their time, energy, and skills into James PT. We don't want anybody thinking about money when they're in someone's home at some, providing physical therapy
Right.
to someone that, let's say they had a stroke. We do athletes. I'll just say our population is athletes, post-surgical, stroke, geriatric, um, and there's one more, but those are the main focuses for us. Can you imagine having a stroke? Okay. And being so frustrated that you can't be and do who you were prior to the stroke. Can you imagine how painful that would be?
Mm-hmm. You see people.
We know it. We know it is. And, we're going into their home to help them navigate their home. We're going into their home to do these exercises and this therapy that they desperately need. But let's just say, they're diminished to the point of, let's say they're at 60%. Our goal is to get them to 100% of that 60, and we'll take the time it's going to take to make it happen. the one thing that our therapists do, and I'm not saying other people don't do this or other companies don't do it, but the one thing that we really prize is our therapists, our PTs, our PTAs, our OTs, all of them. They are seen, they're valued, and they're heard. Guess what happens? When they know that they're seen, valued, and heard, that patient is going to be seen, valued, and heard.
Mm-hmm.
And that is one of the things that separates us from the pack. I take the Pepsi challenge any day in the week and twice on Sunday in terms of pay, because we do pay the best,
Yep.
but you earn every penny in the best way possible. So it's not a pitch. It's just the way we are. It's the way we operate. So go to www.janespt.com. Here's the thing. Go to LinkedIn, send me a DM, send your resume, and let's talk. I'd love to talk with you, and we're going to get all of this handled. Let's see. We have so many others. We talk about Puente Coffee Company. We talk about Puente Coffee. Go to Puente Coffee. Go to their Instagram, Puente Coffee Co. They are amazing. They owe me. If you have noticed, I haven't drank Puente today. They need to send me some coffee. They are fantastic. They are so good. I love Puente. In Austin, they have this little trailer that they sell. They have their little cafe, and it's absolutely fantastic. But go to Puente Coffee Co. on Instagram. You go to www.puentecoffeeco.com and get some merch while you're at it. It's pretty cool. I love those guys. Man, our friend Courtney Turek has a new podcast. Go to Courtney's show, Bold Moves, Confident Choices. She has some amazing guests. She's a former Shark Tank winner, worked directly with Mark Cuban. You get the inside scoop on that. And she's just wonderful. I love her. So go see Courtney's shows. And guess what? While we're doing this, and I know this is long, but I just want to keep on going. Entoo. Mark, take it away. Talk about your company.
Again.
Do it.
We're just regular people.
Yeah.
That's it. We're regular people with skills. Well,
Where can clients get a hold of you?
Oh, clients can reach us. They can either email me directly at mark@entootalent.com. You can hit my LinkedIn page personally, Mark Licke on LinkedIn, or you can go to my Entoo Talent page on LinkedIn, or you can go to my website, entootalent.com. There's a form there. If you want to talk, just reach out and we will respond. We are currently looking for folks that want to make a difference in their processes. We are looking for people that are having a challenge that they need someone to come and take a look at and solve, specifically around hiring, of course. We're not going to be doing a lot of consulting work or contract work, not staff aug. We will help you with some of your key hires, the ones that you expect to move your needle. That's what we're going to focus on for you. And if you have other issues that you like to discuss, we might be able to point you in a different direction than us, but we will certainly do what we can do to help folks find the right resources to solve the problem. One of the things that I pride myself on the most is actually being able to find the problem, the actual problem that requires solving. So everything starts with a conversation. The first call's free. I don't charge for the phone time. But if you hit us up, I'd love to have the conversation and try to figure out if we can be of assistance, and then we'll go from there. It's the challenges are many,
Well,
no two
one
places
thing
are the same. That's for dang sure.
Well, one thing I hope that, because your clients are going to check out, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on is so, these clients and candidates, can see who you are
Right.
and what, you've built. I mean, let's face it, and you've built tens of millions of dollars. You have put people to work I mean, in terms of money and fees, gosh, I would say tens of millions.
Probably.
Um, because I mean, I can tell you how much I build over the
Right.
years. And if you, I mean, you're better than I was. So I can only imagine, how much you've built. That said, nobody bills that high being unethical because your
Right.
reputation is everything. And so I wanted people to see that when they're going to work with you and Entoo, they are working with not only an amazing professional, they're working with someone that knows the business and is a subject matter expert when it comes to hiring. Not only
Right.
that, you're an engineer. And so you came from that world. So, and that's important because not only do you understand where these engineers are coming from, it's not only their language. I can speak their language.
Right.
What's amazing is that when you go in to see a company's problem, you can see it from an engineering perspective and
Mhm.
tell them what it's going to take. That is what an SME does. That is what a quote headhunter is
Right.
supposed to do. That is what's lacking in today's quote headhunting, or what do you want to call it, recruiting or talent acquisition. Thing is that talent acquisition, we spoke on it before. Talent acquisition is designed to gather.
Mhm.
It really is. It's designed to gather. And that's not what we need in today's workforce. And some I'm going to go over some, we're going to cold read some subreddits on recruiting hell, and you're going to see what I'm talking about. But when people work with you, Mark, they are working with a consummate professional that wants to get the job done. And the way you're doing it is, he doesn't have to work himself out of a job. He wants to work himself out of a job.
Right.
It's not advice he's giving you. He's telling you how to structure your talent acquisition teams. He's telling you what it's going to take to get these people hired. And I am telling you, it goes beyond, and we touched on it before, it goes beyond a well-written resume.
Yeah.
It really does require him going in, restructuring your TA team, and working with the TA manager, director, the HR director, CHRO, whatever it is. You guys got to work together. And I'm telling you, after you work with Mark, you're not going to have a problem hiring people. You're not going to have a problem with people picking up the phone. Go and talk to Mark Licke. I swear to you, he will get it done. I'm
I
telling you.
appreciate it. One
No,
of the things that I offer that a lot of us don't talk about much. If you've been in the business long enough, you learned. And I came up through the business, like we talked about the last time, kind of unexpectedly. And a lot of us get
right,
into it that way.
right,
And I learned some things on how to recruit that if I had to do it over again, I wouldn't do. You learn it the hard way.
yeah,
And when you're first starting out, you're doing what you're told to do, and even if you don't agree with it necessarily, you end up doing it.
right,
Um, that being said, I mean, you learn a lot of stuff, and you can learn things from what not to do as much as you can from what to do.
right.
And I've seen a lot of uh, I don't think you should do that,
Yeah,
and I don't do it. I mean, I've kind of
right.
chosen my own path, and I'm not that guy. But I mean, I've seen it. I was party to it early on in my career, and it's over 25 years. So
How about
it's
teaching how to put on a plastic lid on one of these Starbucks cups? My wife threw out some of my Starbucks, and what she does is she separates the lids. So
yep.
we have a bunch of these, and they're different lids. And I'm like, honey, what? I don't get the logic here,
Set
but
it in there and
whatever.
turn it backwards first, and then turn it around.
Ugh,
It'll
see,
drop in
I
when you go backwards.
had to learn the hard way.
Just say it.
All right, let's go through some of these subreddits. I picked this one because it's just flat out hilarious.
Let's hear
Okay.
it.
Looks like this is an engineer. Got auto rejected from a job picking fruit and vegetable.
Okay.
Auto rejected
Auto
from that.
rejected.
Let's see. Okay, let me see. There's a list of here. There should be a list of recruiters not to use. Yeah, I
Auto
agree.
rejected.
I
I would
agree.
explore what they mean by auto rejected. I mean,
So
I have
what that
questions.
means is, yeah. So what that means is, so their ATS, right? They set it
Yeah,
up that whether it's real or it's fake,
right.
they're it has to go through their algorithm. So what that means is that they submitted their resume and they
Mhm.
got the thanks for shopping email minutes or
Right.
seconds after they
Right. But they don't say
put it
that.
in.
They just say I was auto rejected. It's like, but when? How quickly?
Well,
Did you get an email or
with
did it?
an email, yeah, that's what they send. They get
Yeah,
they give an email. They send an email. They got the thanks for shopping email,
yeah,
and that's the thing. It's like these companies are putting out fake jobs. And one of the ways people have learned to recognize what's fake and what's real is
Mhm.
if you get the thanks for shopping email seconds or minutes, literally, after you
Right.
submit your resume. And it's
Yeah.
set up that way to, you can do that on LinkedIn too,
Sure.
where you put the job in there and it, it says, if they're an H1, you reject them. If they're, so what's happening here is what's been going on for 2 years now, and it's really terrible.
But my question
Oh,
is always around the auto reject there. Were you actually qualified for the job? Did you answer they'll have had knockout questions probably of some
yeah.
sort. So did you even read what the minimum requirements were and did you actually answer the minimum, the knockout questions, right? Because if you answer one of them wrong, you're going to be rejected, appropriately so. I mean, that's the part that I struggle with when I see all the people complaining about the bots and the auto rejections and all that. It's like, yeah, but if you answered a question wrong, you know, 2 + 2 is 4, not 3. So, yep,
Right,
next.
right. Oh, here's somebody. Man, see, some of these aren't funny anymore. This guy, I'm telling you, they're just not funny. Okay, so this is a celebratory thing, but listen to this. This is what we're talking about here. After accepting a job this week, after 1.25 years, 700 plus applications, countless phone screens. Well, at least I got the phone screen
Right.
and dozens of second to final round interviews. This felt good, petty but good. And they go through. So this is what. Okay, I'll go ahead and read it. I'll go ahead and read it. This is the email that now this guy was sending to the
Oh, he's
companies that
responding.
got rejected. He's responding. Okay, so this was somebody phone screen. Dear company recruiters, thank you for taking the time for expressing your interest in me. Blank as a candidate for employment at whatever the company's name was. I truly appreciate your interest. While I was impressed with your job description and company, I have decided to move forward with other companies that better fit my needs at this time. As I continue to grow, I encourage you to keep an eye on my LinkedIn open to work status. Your company may just be what I'm looking for down the road. Thanks
So
again and
he's
best of luck in your future endeavors.
he's sending this
I mean,
back,
yes, I love it.
but he's already been
Fantastic.
rejected.
Yes, fantastic. Well, at the end of the day, though, he accepted a job. And
Right.
so he's like, that's what he's saying. He said, this felt good. Petty, but good.
But
I
good.
loved that.
Or was he
I
going back and
encourage
rejecting companies that hadn't interviewed him yet?
maybe. I
Right? I
mean,
mean, he
it's
got a
not
job, so
clear.
now he's going
Well, he
back
said,
and killing all of his apps.
yeah, after accepting a job this week, after 1.25, you got the guy's got to be an engineer.
Right.
700 plus application. Well, he wouldn't say point. He'd say 1.25.
1.25.
700 plus applications, countless phone screens, and dozens of second and final round interviews. This felt good, petty but good. I encourage that. In fact, you know what? Keep that going. I love it. we have to be calling out these fake ghost post jobs. I'm sorry. Call them out. It is, and here's the reasons. The reasons why that happened.
Mhm.
It
Well, there's a
goes
lot
up
of
pretty
reasons.
high.
Yeah.
Well, it goes up pretty high, like almost to the highest level.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I know
And I
where you're
want to say
going.
almost, you know what I mean? I want
Yeah,
to
I know
say
where you're going.
almost because, they may or may not have been present when this was going on,
I know where you're
right?
going.
But what's the linchpin? What's the linchpin in saying that we're in a recession, not in a recession, in a depression, not in a depression?
Well, we had to
It's the job number.
redefine that. Yeah, it's
Well, it
job
seems to get
number.
redefined with every administration. Well,
Right.
we're not, the linchpin was, yes, your gas prices are going up. Yes, price of groceries. My gosh, yeah, it's really bad. But all of these companies are hiring. We created
Right.
these jobs.
Yeah. That was the gaslighting about don't believe your lying eyes. I mean,
Exactly.
it's like everything's
Exactly.
great. Record
You
low
know,
layoffs and a robust economy. Yeah.
and I can't say that and here's the thing, I can't really say that I blame the companies that did it. This was an instruction.
Mhm.
And I know that to be a fact. I
Right.
also know that the Department of Labor
Yeah.
had state departments of labor call different companies and ask them, what are you hiring for? And what's funny to me is that they were calling recruiting companies that have people on billing.
Right.
And I'll
Right.
leave it at that.
Right.
But, right. And I had people to corroborate this.
Mhm.
I had, I had leaders. I had company heads, directors, VPs, SVPs. I had recruiters,
Right.
TAs. And young ones too. And I had what was the other one? Elected officials, both state, and federal, and all of them
You
backed
know,
out.
the
It was a
interesting
big
thing
deal.
about the interesting thing about those stats is that those departments are always flexing to try to make their administration look good. So it's
Always.
it's it's not a one side of the aisle or the other side of the aisle. It's
That's
it's
right.
we're always trying to make our administration look good, right? And
Right. And
the
I don't
gaslighting
know
got
if I
found out.
look. Look. I don't know. I'm embarrassed or something, but I'm not. I don't know. I'm really hoping these numbers are real. If we actually, I think, what was it, 243,000 jobs? Like, if we're in a hiring frenzy right now,
Right.
this is a beautiful time to be alive.
It
Like,
was
this
kind
is
of
like,
weird, the last batch of job numbers that came out, because ADP came out with their numbers first, and they showed that they lost 33,000 jobs um, in the month of June. And the Fed's numbers came out, and they added all those jobs, right? But the largest job creations was still in government and healthcare, right, and hospitality. So those three were still the leading ones on the federal number, but the ADP numbers showed a completely different story. You know,
did they exclude oil and gas?
ADP did not. I,
Well,
don't- I
really?
don't I don't recall on the other one. I didn't deep dive. I looked at the two numbers and just shook my head and went, man, they still don't make sense. Because
Well,
when you talk to people, you're talking to a lot of like senior level folks that are really struggling to get interviews. I mean, they're not
yeah,
getting callbacks, and you're talking to other recruiters, at other agencies that they're struggling to get people to return their phone calls. They've got legacy companies that have kind of keep putting them off arm's length kind of a thing, and it's kind of like nationwide. I mean, some
yeah,
places are doing pretty well depending on what niche they're in. Other places are really, really struggling, to
yeah,
make a dent, make an impact. Um, Guys like us, we're out here. We're not looking to be the biggest. We're not looking to be, the most famous. We're just wanting to go and do good work and solve problems, right?
That's right.
So and our problem solving will help companies do their problem solving better, right? And but when you look at all the numbers and they just don't add up, and I saw
Yeah.
another number that they've already laid off this year, it was like 775,000 people this year
Oh
already
man. So
in
even if
that
the
they
job
know
numbers
about,
are real at 245, you're
right?
you're at a deficit. You're
Right.
already at a deficit.
So the numbers, they just, the deeper you look at them, the less square they become,
Yeah.
and it just doesn't make sense, and I mean, from just a nuts and bolts, man on the street perspective, it's really hard to kind of pick a lane, um,
Yeah.
and when you watch like the kids, I mean, I've got friends who have kids that are going into college and they're trying to figure out what to be when they grow up, kind of a thing. And dude, I'll tell you, I've told every one of them, I said, where are you going to school? And they'll tell me what college they're going to. I said, why don't you think about going into trades? I mean, if you like to work with your
Yeah.
hands and do stuff, why don't you think about going into the trades? And they're like, what do you mean? It's like, well, AI and automation isn't going to steal your plumbing job. It's not going to steal your construction job. It's not going to steal your electrical job. Maybe consider some of that, instead of, going into, what you were looking at going into in a 4-year degree. Go get a 2-year degree and go to work. So I keep telling people to do that until all this stuff kind of sorts itself out. It's I think that's the direction where a lot of folks should be going right now. It's I mean, what got exposed, with like the educational system being kind of a grift, taking your money and charging you a lot and not getting a lot out of it. The university system, and some of the government stuff, they started to relax the requirements on requiring a 4-year degree. They're willing to look
Uh-huh.
at work history instead of just at the education. And I'm not poo-pooing education at all. I mean, if you want to go to college, go to college. But just buckle up. I mean, it's going to be a bumpy ride when you come out. I can tell you that. But we're seeing it. I mean, I've referenced it a number of times. You're going to see donut holes in the workforce, where people just don't go to school for certain things. And well, look at what you're going through. PTs, nursing is the same thing. You can't hardly find nurses. I've got
Oh,
friends that recruit
it's
for them and
insane.
struggle. It's not because there aren't any; they're just not making any more. I mean, people don't want to go into it. They're treated poorly. We've got nurses up here that are going on strike, um, and they're already short-staffed. So those are good fields to probably consider going into if you're looking for something to do as a young professional trying to come up someplace.
I have
But
I have a couple things. I thought I found this on Recruiting Hell. Let's see if I can put it up here.
that's always a good
Oh
one.
wait, wait. Hold on. Maybe I got to
Go ahead,
do.
put it right
I'll
on
just
top
do
of me. Go
this.
ahead.
Hold on. You're gonna love this. Okay, here we go.
There we go.
Y'all have great resumes. Now it comes down to a game of musical chairs.
That'll work. Hey,
I
it's
mean,
performative.
right. Are you ready to rumble? I mean, what in the world, dude? This is
That's
unbelievable.
awesome.
Okay.
Hey, you can't say they didn't give them a performance review. I mean, that the one that wins gets the job.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. There's one that I loved on here. It was let's see. Invited to an AI interview by an actual person. This is my response. Hi, Chloe. No, thank you. If you're interested, I'm happy to speak with a person directly, but I don't care to take part in a one-way conversation.
Right.
I love it. I love it. Here's another one. We value your time. It's only 7 interviews.
Yeah. Value.
Dude, dude.
Yeah,
I
the
have
over.
restructured the way companies hire,
Mhm.
and really the company in for me worked wonders when I was an agency.
Yeah,
It was great. It got things done so quickly. And then when I was a TA, the way we evaluated a lot of engineers where they were going to have to do a group interview anyway, but
right.
instead of having them take home some assignment that, you know, whatever.
I
I
do have
finally
a
worked for, well,
variety of
wait a minute.
opinions about the
Wait a
work.
minute. What I did is I gave them a schematic, gave them the instructions, and they came in and they presented. And we were hiring it at a clip at one a week.
Right. There you go.
So we took a 6 week trial by fire
Mhm.
that was a strain on everybody's time, and cut it down to a week, some 2 weeks at the most. Boom.
You still see people talking about, hire slow, fire fast, right? Um, right.
So dumb. If the recruiter's doing their job, there's no reason to put up 30 people.
But see,
They should have
hire
re-
slow doesn't mean long process, right? I mean, or burdensome processes, right? I mean, you can
what does
take
that
your
mean?
time. Oh, you can take your time, about hiring people, get people in queue, have a defined process. It shouldn't be like multiple levels and layers, but you should take some time. I mean, it should be more than
Well,
a 15-minute conversation, right? Um,
absolutely right.
you
Absolutely
should be
right.
able to sit down and have an actual conversation with somebody once or twice
Yes.
and then make a decision. So you've maybe invested, 2 or 3 hours into the whole thing, and then
I
you take
absolutely
your
agree with that.
opportunity. However, I do agree with the fire fast, right?
Oh,
So,
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if you
I agree
know
with
that
that.
you made a bad hire, everybody knows, including the candidate, right? And it's like, yeah,
Get
we're
rid
going
of
to have
them
to,
right
you know.
away.
So
Get rid of them as soon as you
there's
possibly
nothing
can.
wrong with that. But in this, like we referenced before, everybody's starring in their own movie. They can't possibly be wrong. It's like, well, sure you can. I mean, there's always a villain in the movie, right? This time it's you.
Well,
So,
that's funny. You know what's funny too, and I'm so glad you mentioned this. Candidates are interesting too, because if your process is too fast, it's a red flag. If your process literally is too fast, so you have to balance
right,
between process
Mhm.
and time delivery. You
Right.
know, now,
Yeah.
look what I just said. I just said about this one Reddit. We value your time. It's only 7 interviews. Well, okay, I laughed at that, but then I looked at the schedule. I should put this on the screen.
Yeah. If they're like 30
Candidate
minute meetings,
experience, candidate experience. We value your time and want you to know what to expect from us.
Mhm.
This is fantastic. I used to do the same thing.
All right,
Uh,
put it up there.
this
Let's see it.
interview for the interview. Okay, I gotta send it to. Oh shoot,
I mean,
wrong thing.
7 interviews, I mean, on the surface sounds like a lot, but if you're going to a company to interview with them directly twice, and you meet with 7 people, and
I
each
should
meeting
put it
it's
up
like
on.
30
I'm doing this on
minutes,
my phone. I should see. This is why I need a. I need a producer
more monitors.
like Jamie, like Joe. Joe. Hey Jamie, can you put that on the screen?
Right.
Um, you know, I need to do it. Like I need. I need that. Uh,
It's just us, a couple of hunyucks.
it's just us. Um, but but here's a. It's like the bottom line is. Let me see. INT Pro. Um, the bottom line is for some people, it doesn't matter what you do.
Mhm.
There will always be some room to complain. But for
Right.
this, the candidate is most definitely wrong. And we're going to go into the reasons why. And here, we're going to put
Yeah.
this on the screen. Just give me a second.
I mean, I'm imagining a well thought out, concise interview process that involved 7 people.
You're going to see
Um,
it.
which
I
depending
think
on the
this is
role.
fantastic. I think this is fantastic. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure that.
If
Okay,
you're
this okay.
hiring
It doesn't have
interns,
anybody. All right, here we go.
there we go.
All right, we value your time and want to know what you expect from us for this interview. We expect to ask you to participate in 6 interviews total, and expect this to be 3.5 hours. Okay, over 2
Over two
weeks.
weeks. What's wrong with that?
Wow, I'd get
There's
this
nothing.
done in a day. I
There's
would get
nothing
this
wrong
done
with
in a
that.
day.
Well, the
I
final presentation, I mean, that one might require somebody to like actually do something. Those are the ones where, as a recruiter, I'd be asking my client, what does this involve, and how long should it take a person,
right,
that is appropriate for this job to complete. And then I also kind of try to figure out if what they're asking them to do is not a project that they're working on in house,
yeah,
right? Because you don't want them to send in busy work home, that they can steal or whatever. I mean, we all heard the stories, right?
right,
But if you're asking them to do a presentation, and it takes them a little while to pull some stuff together, and you're halfway through the interview process when you say, okay, we're going to move to the second half of the process, and which includes this at the end. So before you come back, in 2 weeks, you're going to have that ready. Now you've given the
right,
person 2 weeks, a week and a half to get a project together. And if it's not an overly complicated project, you know, some of the software engineering positions that you would have people do, um, those could get quite involved. Some of the stuff they did. But if you're doing a presentation, I mean, that's like a whiteboarding session, man. Most of the people that I knew, like especially on the engineering side, uh, they love that stuff. I mean,
right.
that was group think time. But this looks
Well,
like it
yeah,
might be more of a salesy type of a job,
it could be, but
where they want
at
you
the
to give
same
a
time,
pitch.
but at the same time, I think 2 weeks is a little excessive. But
Mhm.
here's the deal: you don't want to talk about process. That's process,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
You
There's no,
know, and
I see
so
nothing
it's
wrong with that.
like
Were they complaining
I
about
don't
that?
either. They were complaining about it. They're like, "Oh, well, we value your time. It's only 7 interviews." Well, wait a minute. Hold on.
Right.
First of all, I used to do that. I would put together the who they're going to be talking to, this and that. I never put it to where there was a time limit,
Right.
but if we got it done in a day or two, I would say expect this to be 20 minutes, expect this to be 30 minutes.
Right.
And sometimes, especially with VPs and SVPs, it would go a little longer. Funny part is like, oh, well, I only need 10 minutes. Well, if they like the person, sometimes it was an hour. And
Right.
so, but I agree with you. I don't see a thing wrong with that.
Mm.
So, but what's funny about this particular candidate, I bet you if it was too short, they'd have a problem with it. And now that it's over a couple weeks, they got a problem with it. You
Right.
see, we're in that time, and I got to say, that's not unusual where you're going to have somebody have a problem with something. But the
Right.
thing is that whatever the process is, the great resignation and then the retribution, the there are leaders that are still ticked off that they had to get the vaccine and people didn't,
Mhm.
because and they quit their jobs over it. There
Right.
is still animosity for that.
Mhm.
And
Right.
you can ask all sorts of questions on that application, but that's one that you're going to ferret out in the interview if you don't know how to answer that. But the thing is process. I mean, if they are, excuse me, if they are, let me put this up again. This would work very well if they have, oops, sorry, wrong one. If they have several candidates going through,
Right. That's was my
you
follow up
know
to
what I
that. It's
mean?
like you don't.
Yeah,
The candidate is assuming that they're the only one that they're talking to. If
right.
you have
Yes.
a company that's interviewing, say half a dozen or a dozen people,
Yeah.
that's an appropriate amount of time. I mean, because the folks that are doing the interview also have a regular job to do, right? So,
Mm-hmm. Oh
they're and
yeah,
you're
and the fact that there's a commitment
mhm,
to getting these people, uh, like getting them on their schedule. You have a
right,
commitment from each one of these people. That
mhm,
is fantastic.
yeah,
And what's going to happen is, let's say you have four, maybe, like you said, six people, they're going to be overlapping. So
right,
those people that are interviewing are, I would hate to be the first one,
right.
but, but,
The first
I
candidate, you
would love
mean?
the first
Yeah,
candidate. Yeah. But if I'm the last one, that's
right,
fantastic. That's where you want to be. But they're
correct.
going to be overlapping and doing all sorts of things. So honestly, and I'll put it up one more time, I give kudos to this company and to
Mhm,
this recruiter or TA that absolutely has gone in and talked to these people, and they understand that the person that's making this happen, that TA right there, the first interview talent acquisition, that talent acquisition person has really done their work and done the
mhm,
job to
yep,
talk to their hiring managers and say, listen, I know what I'm doing. I need this time commitment. Are you willing to do it? And
yep.
they've agreed.
The two that were the most interesting on there, I think it was number five, yeah, fifth interview, your peer panel.
Right,
A lot of people will go, God, they got two panel interviews. It's like, well, sure. The peer panel is a good one. That's the one where you get to talk to people just like what you'd be doing. So
right.
that
Your
gives you
team.
an opportunity to actually ask good questions of the job
Right.
itself by the people that are doing the job. And then the
Yeah.
last one, the panel presentation, that's group think time. I mean, if you're all about it, and you get to that level, I mean, that's like a lot of fun for some of these guys to do, like some serious braining whiteboarding sessions. So, I mean, if somebody were
Right.
to look at this and like, kind of have a panic attack, I mean, the two they should be looking forward to the most is five and final, because that's where you
Yeah, I agree.
really get to find some stuff out, and you really get to show what you're all about. I mean, those are the two that are key to me.
I totally agree. And and what you mean by groupthink isn't groupthink.
Mm-mm.
It's a chance to think as a group.
Correct. Like brainstorming. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
Brainstorming. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we're
So
not looking for confirmation bubbles and group thing.
I mean, what's really great about what we're doing right now is I was looking for funny stuff, and we got some great practical things on here.
Recruiting hell
I
used to
love it.
be funny for recruiters. I mean, it was like a lot of bashing going on, and you just kind of
Oh, it's
shake your
great.
head because they never really know. Nobody ever really knows the whole story. I mean, candidates go out there and run companies down, run managers down, run recruiters down, and then if you ever sat down and talked to them and showed them like, okay, well, here's the whole thing. Here's what happened. You know, they're like, I didn't know that. I'm like, well, how could you? Nobody told you.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
True story. I
this
had
is
a candidate that bashed our firm back in the day to one of my clients because we told the client not to give the candidate an offer. And the client wanted to give him an offer. He said, Dad, don't do it. And and the reason we told him was because the candidate told us they would not accept the offer because they were accepting a better offer from a different company. So they wouldn't accept the offer anyway. And it's like, okay, well, that saves us all a lot of time. It sucked for us because I
and they
mean,
got mad that
right.
we told the client
So I
because
told the client,
they wanted the offer to shop to the one they were getting an offer from.
well, here's where
I
it gets
love that.
funny. I told the client that. The client was like, oh, okay. Thanks for the update, Mark. I agree. That would be a waste of everybody's time. Thank you.
Yeah.
A few days later, I get a call from my client. Hey, your candidate called angry that we didn't make him an offer. And
I love it.
I said, they called you directly? They're like, oh yeah. He says, and I said, well, what was his complaint? His complaint was that you told us not to give him an offer. I said, that's accurate. He goes,
Yeah.
did he tell you why? He goes, no, but you did. I said, no, let us call the candidate back. I said, I'll get back to you. So we called the candidate and said, hey, we heard you talk to our client about you not getting your offer. What was that about? You told us you wouldn't accept it. Well, I thought I was going to get the offer from that other company, and they didn't make me an offer.
Wow, man.
Dude's wife was all up in his business,
Oh my
and he was
gosh.
trying to save himself. And it's like, that was the wrong way to do it, my friend.
It's funny. I love the fact that, there's a reason we exist. And
Mhm.
one of the reasons is um, we negotiate every day,
Right.
you know? I mean,
100%.
for us, and really for everybody, but for us especially, recruiting is life. Like,
Mhm.
we like everything, if somebody's not married and they're dating, guess what? That's recruiting.
Right.
I
Sort of.
equate so many, you know what I mean? I equate so many things to dating, like in the business world, because everybody can relate to it.
Mhm.
But it's essentially the same thing with different goals and different words,
Right.
but it's the same thing. And uh, there is a reason why we exist.
Mhm.
And what I love is when someone is like they're really good, like they're a data scientist, they're super good at data science, and you know they think they've worked out the angles, and you know
Right.
they've become master negotiators, because they've gone through and
Because
you
the
know
data says so.
perused they they have jet skied on the data lake.
Mhm.
They are so good.
the data, the data swamp,
The data swamp. And
unorganized.
uh
Yeah.
and they go and they try to negotiate, and they fall flat on their face,
Mhm.
and then they wonder why. Like, I had one, I told him, I said, listen, you need to listen to me. And when they start to negotiate, you need to bring it back to me, because I've already closed the client on what you're going to get. But if you open your mouth, you're going to screw it up. Let me do my job.
Right.
Brad, you know what? I trust you. And I agree. Okay. Brother.
I know how this goes. Had to talk, didn't they?
Well, they had to talk. And he messed it up. I
Yeah.
had him closed, about 15 grand over.
Mhm.
And they had a talk.
Right.
And by the end of that talk, he gets a verbal for 10 grand under. And I'm like, man, now I had him closed at 10 grand under
Right.
what, right? I had him closed there. So he was like, look at me. I got 5 grand. And I'm like, brother, I had her closed at 15 over. He said, you what? I said, yeah, man. I told you I had it. Don't have a conversation. Don't have a
Mhm.
conversation with her, And maybe looking back on it, maybe I should have told him, but I was afraid if I told him and then she comes back and lowballs, because I
Right.
knew that's what was going to happen. I knew it. And so, you know, I mean, he got the job, but he was an example for when
Mhm.
I found his teammate. He was an example of what not to do.
Yeah. It goes back to that game of cribbage we talked about in the first time around. You
Right.
got to play your
Yeah.
one card at a time at the appropriate time, right?
At the
Um,
appropriate times. Yeah.
and what we do, especially if you're an agency, right? I mean, and again, we touched on this before. I mean, it's definitely self-serving because we need to make our livings, right? But it's how we go about making our living. We're forced to be Switzerland. We're forced to be, client advocates and candidate
Right.
advocates, right? And try to put the
Right.
best, opportunity together for both of them. And, we're trying to get it done, you know, most of us, I guess, are trying to get it done as ethically as possible. But
Yep.
when companies are looking at, like talking to somebody like me to come in or somebody like you to come in, and they say, well, what makes you different than it's like, well, I've been paying my mortgage this way for over 25 years.
I've been doing
I
something
mean,
right.
I might know something, right? I mean,
Right.
but when you go talk to the noobs on the other side of the fence, where they're in the seat of like, well, it's my job to screen people out. It's like they don't like people like me. They don't like people like you. And it's not necessarily
Mm,
that it's ageism. It's just that we're a threat,
yeah.
because we're going to come in and go, what are you doing?
Right.
Especially if it's bad. I mean, because you see
Yeah.
stuff and you're like, oh, don't do that. I mean, it's no wonder you're not getting anybody hired. I mean, nobody's going to talk to you if you keep doing that. You're lucky you haven't wound up in court yet. Um,
That's so
you
true.
know,
That is,
but I mean, and a
here's
lot of times you can go out and look on their own websites and stuff, and you can see the egregiousness of their behavior, and it's like,
yeah.
wow, how do you keep a job? But they don't want to
Right.
talk to people like us about it, which is why we're out here doing what we do. I mean, ideally for me, I just come in and help companies solve a problem and then leave. There you go. If it's something else breaks, call me. I mean, other than that, I'm good for lunch or whatever.
Well, I want to close on this, and this is really encouraging. Um, I it's nice when there is a success story. Okay,
Mhm.
so it said it will happen for you. I've been unemployed for 7.5 months, being laid off due to work being outsourced overseas for financial
Mhm.
reasons. During that time, I applied on 150 dozens of sites. Okay, I don't know, easily well over 500 job applications, and had a grand total of 3 interviews to show for it. And an inbox slammed full of rejections and thanks for your interest. I had lost all motivation and hope that I would ever be employed again. And during this time, I saw many posts in this group from people in similar situations who had finally found jobs.
Yep.
It's a big part of what kept me going. Oh man, this is great. And
Mhm.
not shriveling up in a corner in despair. So I would like to pay it forward if I can. After 7.5 months of banging my head against the proverbial brick wall, applying to hundreds of jobs for which I was perfectly qualified, if not overqualified, only to get ghosted entirely, most of them, or rejected outright, sometimes within minutes of app submission.
Yeah.
It's very important. I received a job offer this morning. I feel like I can breathe again, but I can't breathe at the same time. That's
Mhm.
that's a big
There's
deal, man.
a lot of struggles out there. I mean, and I hate to say
I,
this, but 7 months right now is almost nothing. I mean, I've talked to people at a year and a half, 2 years.
well, right, and so that's actually very encouraging. 7.5 months. So we're
Mhm.
talking, yeah, that's about right. And
Right.
so that's encouraging. Man, I'm getting emotional over this. This is a big deal. So he said, I feel like I can't. I feel like I can breathe again, but I can't breathe at the same time. I still haven't stopped shaking. Hang in there and please try not to lose all hope.
Mhm.
It will happen for you too. I hope it helps. I
Right.
mean, brother,
I
I
mean,
love
we
that,
can poke
man.
holes
That's
into some of
so,
what that message was. I mean, there's some things in there that are probably, self-inflicted, shall we say, especially when you come down to like your own, you know, self self promotions, right? I mean, I'm overqualified according to who? I mean, according to you,
well,
right? I mean, but
no, I'm telling you, man. I couldn't do the show that I was gonna do to do this, what we just did,
mhm,
because the posts stopped being funny. They
right,
stopped being, you know, uh, most of that stuff was self inflicted from what
mhm,
I saw, or companies. And really, this was the point. I wanted to point out the absurdity. of hiring,
Right.
the absolute absurdity of what companies really put themselves through because they're so gun shy
Right.
about whatever. Like if the person's too good, why are they too good? If they're not good enough, they're not good enough. Screw them,
Right.
And so they go through this litany of ridiculous crap that's so unnecessary. If they
Mhm.
would just listen to the ones that have the PhD of hiring, you
You
know.
know,
But a lot
they
of
like
times
to
you
they
have,
like to keep pointing out that the Dunning-Kruger effect is alive and well, right? I mean,
oh God,
the four, what is it, the four laws of the Dunning-Kruger or the four rules or whatever it was. But you
I'm
know what?
so
That
I'm so
swings
tired
both
of people
ways.
being. You're
That
damn
that
right
goes
it does.
both ways.
And you
It's
know
not
what?
just the applicants that you can say that of. It's the people that sit on the hiring
Thousand
side.
percent.
It's
I'm
like, yeah,
so tired. I mean, so tired of having this absolute ridiculous, almost. There's a thing. Even Solomon said this in Ecclesiastes. Sometimes having too much knowledge or thinking you are have too much knowledge is really a detriment.
mhm.
And you're talking about the Dunning Kruger effect, dude. I am over it. I'm
Right.
over it.
But
You
it's
know,
there
if
for a reason.
if there,
It actually exists for a reason,
I get
and
it, and you're right.
it's
It
not
goes both
wrong.
ways.
Mhm.
Well, and it does go both ways. But the point is that if if people write history, they write
People,
history based on the decisions, the emotions, and um, the events of the day and time.
right,
It's humans that are making history,
right.
right? So it's going to be flawed. It's going to
Mhm.
be off. We're going to go look back and just say, why in the world to do that? When all they have to do, and I'm not saying that you're going to be perfect. I'm not saying I'm going to be perfect, but I am saying that I've made mistakes and I learned from those mistakes.
Yeah,
And that at the end of the day, of course, whoever is doing the hiring, whether they're, you know, yeah, I had a VP one time, bro. He or she hired somebody for this role. Really great idea. It's kind of like a tech support for engineers, right? An engineering tech support. It's kind of a big
sure.
deal. And it's not really something that a lot of companies do, but this particular one needed one. And so they hired somebody. And on his first day, I kid you, on his first day, uh, he said, okay, great. So I'll be gone at 3. And I just wanted, you guys know that I will be leaving at 3 and my phone will be off every day.
On a
Wait,
support job.
what? Like, what'd you say? Yeah. Yeah. I will be in the office at 8 o'clock. I will be leaving at 2:59 every day. Just want to make sure that's clear. He lasted a day. He was sent home right
Mhm.
then. And so my question was, okay, well, was one of the questions like, did you guys ever touch on schedule? No, but it was because of that hire and the amount of crap she got
Right.
after gun shy, snake bit,
Oh,
1,000%.
absolutely. Yeah.
Until I told her, listen, if that ever happens, that's on me. It's not on you, but we need to pull the trigger because if we don't, we're going to lose these people.
Right.
We had 2 people that were ready to hire right now, but oh no, I want them to talk to this person. Oh, no, I want them to talk to that. Stop it. They've talked to enough. Like, do you
Yeah.
want them to the board?
That
You
was
know,
an oversight in the recruiting process was to not
right? Because they
discuss
were
the
doing
that.
it. They were
Right. I
doing
mean,
it.
they should have done it. I mean,
Yeah,
the
but
thing
they were
is,
doing
when
it. My
you're
point is that they were recruiting.
they did it. Yeah.
They
It
did it.
wasn't the candidate's fault.
It wasn't the candidate's fault, but you know, but again, They didn't ask the question. It
Right.
never came up. And so
Right.
the candidate never said it.
Now, arguably, the candidate could have introduced that into the conversation. Said, "Oh, by the way, are you okay
Right.
with kind
But
of early on in the
I mean,
process?" But no,
well, you and I will always assume that we're not going to, that unless we ask the question, we're not going to get the answer.
right,
And so they didn't realize that they're not recruiters. And so they didn't ask it. It's
right.
nobody's fault, but she got such a massive amount of crap for it. It made her gun shy and snake bit on the next hire. That's why it's so important that if you're going to hire, you cannot, you, I don't care if you hire somebody junior, just don't train them to be an order taker. If they're and if you treat them like an order taker, guess what they're going to be?
An order taker. That's
Right.
exactly right. The value that people like me and you bring with like the years of experience that we've got from our respective industries is we've made our mistakes. We've seen other people make mistakes. We've learned from ours and from theirs, and we're honest, right? So if
That's
I
right.
go in, for example, and start talking to somebody about what they're trying to do, and if it's something that it's just out of my scope. I mean, I'm not going to pretend that I can fix it. I'm not going to do that. I mean that's like pretending to be an electrician and hoping you don't electrocute yourself or burn the house down. It's like
Right. Yeah.
no, But
Right.
we're good at what we do,
Yeah.
and part of what we're good at is telling them what we can't do. Right? That's equally
That's
as
right.
important. Right? I mean, it's like, no, I can't do
Thousand
that.
percent.
Right?
Yep.
So but that's what you pay for, right? I mean, it goes back to like, everybody wants free crap on the internet. Well, it wasn't free for me to learn all this stuff. I mean, it wasn't free for you either. It took us years of getting
Years.
beat on, and picking a spot on
Heartache,
the wall to hit
pain.
our head. Uh,
Yeah.
it wasn't free and it wasn't pain free either, right? So we want to be compensated for our knowledge, right? But
Right.
we don't want to hang around forever.
Well, I tell you what, and it boils down to this, and we're going to close with this: is everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die.
There's that.
You know, Mark, brother, you're incredible. I think you know what we need to do. We need to develop a show, and we'll talk about this offline. But I would love to develop a show with you, to where we're given real insights and to help people, and to just I want to read more stuff like that.
Yeah, it's out there.
It's out there and it's
Mhm.
happening. And this isn't the same kind of hiring frenzy we had in
No,
2022. It's not the
no.
same kind, but it is happening. I want everybody within the sound of my voice to know, you know what? Stay the course. Don't give up. Are there fake jobs? Yes. Were they done for nefarious purposes? Absolutely. But you know what? Doesn't matter.
Right.
Keep going, keep striving, keep thriving. And Mark, everyone, I'm telling you, if you are a company out there and you're not hiring Mark for his consulting services, or you're not hiring Mark to make sure that you guys get the right people, let me tell you something. You're doing yourself a disservice. Get in touch with him. Is there a phone number that they can call?
Absolutely. You can call me at 612-961-0065. Hit me on
Beautiful.
that one.
Just give him a call on
Mhm.
LinkedIn. You'll find him there, Mark Licke, and you need his services, brother. We're gonna go into the final thoughts segment. Are you gonna hang around?
I'll hang.
All right, bro. Hold steady and stay with us. We will be right back. Final thoughts here, Mark. What do you want to tell him?
I think I'm going to start at the back and work forward. that that last message you read off of one of the groups, there's a lot of that out there in real life. And I mean, I don't know how many people reach out to folks that they haven't heard from in a while. It gets you thinking. I mean, if you haven't heard from somebody in a while, it might be not because they're doing great. It might be because they're not doing so good. They might need somebody to talk to. If if they're out of work and they might be struggling, don't tell them just go get a job, because that doesn't work. Just call and ask them how they're doing and listen. If you are listening to this and somebody that wants to, talk to somebody about like their job search, what might be going wrong, what they've done or what they aren't doing, send them my way, send them to Bradley, reach out. I mean, we don't mind answering those types of questions. I mean, not everything has to be paid for, right? We're not going to do everything for free, but I can tell you over the last year and a half, I mean, I had a number of conversations with people that just left you kind of wrecked for the week. I mean, if you go back and look through the timeline on my LinkedIn post, I actually posted on some of them. I mean, they were conversations that that had you feeling kind of, you felt grateful for what you had, because it was way more than what some of the people you were talking to had. They'd lost everything. They were getting kicked out of their houses. They've already had their cars repossessed. I mean, they barely had a telephone to try to apply to a job on. They were, being put up in, shelters and stuff. And these were people that were professionals. I mean, they had great careers. I mean, and they just got kicked to the curb. I mean, but we as a group of people need to try to prop each other up. I mean, we can't help everybody all the time. We can't, do all that. But man, if we can help companies figure out better ways to hire people better, we should be doing that. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we could do better as a society. I mean, we've never talked about this, but it's like people who have like a criminal past where they've already done their time, right? They got arrested, they did their time, they fulfilled their social contract, and we hold it against them. I mean, why are we doing that? I mean, they upheld their end of the deal. They did the crime, they did the time. We're supposed to be able to allow people to get back about their business, but we don't. So there's lots of stuff that that people like us can talk to people about, and we can talk to our clients about it too. It's like, hey, have you considered this group of people? It's just, but like I said, I mean, that last bit had us thinking, it will happen to you. Yeah. There it is. But you end up talking to a lot of people, and we can't place them all. We can't do everything for everybody. But if we can help smooth this out for people, get rid of the fake jobs, help companies hire better, faster, more efficiently, and more appropriately, I think we can feel pretty good about what we're doing, overall. That's what I mean. That's where I'm at with it. But and I see my host has wandered off and left me to ramble. But if anybody's watching this, there's a lot of things that we can do to help people get better at their skills in-house, to hire people in. There's HR departments that could use good recruitment help. HR is not recruiting. They do have a function, they have a role, and they need to be really great at what they do. So we should be able to help them be better at what they do. Those are the things that we should be doing. But when you start to see, posts like what Bradley has just put up here, there's too much of it, and I like I said earlier, I hate to say it, but 7.5 months isn't terribly long in this market. Welcome back, Bradley.
Thank you, sir.
But 7.5 months is a long time to this person. So if whatever it is that we can do, I mean, we should be doing to help everybody else out. Those are my final thoughts on it. I mean, we can talk about what I do and what I can do until the cows come home. Best if somebody just picks up the phone or sends me a message and says, "Hey, I saw you. This is what we're struggling with. Can you help us?" That'd be a good start. That's where it all starts, is the phone call. So
I literally have nothing to add. I got nothing to add to that. I agree with everything. Sorry, I had to step away. Um, it was emergent.
Clearly.
But I got
But
nothing to
welcome
add to
back.
that. I got nothing to add to that. That's absolutely true. And you know, I mean, I've been pretty transparent on the show about how bad 2023 was. It was so bad, Mark, that I didn't know if we were going to be able to stay in our place.
Mhm.
It got so bad. And I learned a lot on my end. I learned that God hasn't forgotten about me. He hasn't forgotten about my wife. I I became, and I'm every day is something for me to get closer to God. But for me, man, I saw God work in our lives in so many ways, and it was it was one of those things where um, I couldn't believe where we were at. Number one, and as a
Mhm.
man, it was just defeat. I just felt so defeated, And then I re-injured my back and my hip, my right hip, and it was just as a man, it felt like I was on a cliff and wasn't too worried about the fall. And that's the thing. People, they don't, when they realize, number one, that there are people that love them, that's not the answer, that tomorrow needs them.
Mhm.
Um, it's a mind-blowing revelation
Right.
because everybody thinks about the fall, but they don't worry at all about the impact. How many times has someone like actually done that, and then in the middle of it, in that few seconds they have left, go, this was probably not a good idea.
A
you
terrible
know
idea. Okay. It's
Terrible
a
idea.
long-term solution to a short-term problem.
Short-term problem. And I thought, I was, there was all sorts of things that were going on. It was like my pride, my, and here's the other thing too. It's really interesting. People don't want to talk to you when you're going through that.
Right.
Like, you really find out who your friends are. They don't want to talk to you. And the best thing that people do, or best thing that you can do, is show a good front, do your best to keep that illusion going,
Yep.
you know, because in business, boy, oh boy, don't let them know.
Right. Yeah. Again, I've written a number of articles about that and posts. They put you on read. I mean, the people that
Mhm.
you relied on, that your network, the folks that you counted on, you find out who they are. And
Find out who they
and,
are.
and the thing is, I'll only cast a little shade on them. Most people are only worried about themselves, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
what we do. I mean, and if they cannot help you, they just lock up. They don't know what to say. So they say nothing, which is more hurtful because you misinterpret their silence a lot of
Oh
times.
my gosh, it's like it felt at the beginning,
Hmm.
it felt like a knife straight through your heart. You know what's
Right.
funny? Frankie Nunez, remember him from Malcolm in the Middle?
Yeah.
Munez, he put a post on X yesterday, and so I guess him and his wife are really going through it. And he said, I've always given? How come it's, when the giver needs help, nobody's there? And
Right.
I responded with, it's because it's people have a opinion and they rely on the giver. But when the giver needs help, they're gone because they don't know what to do, just like what you said.
Right.
They can't handle it. They're like, oh my God, what's happening? And so then they're silent. And we interpret it in however ways we're going to interpret it. But I am telling you, I feel like, and this is just me, and yeah, I'm a preacher's kid and I went through all that. So we're the worst of the worst. But from a spiritual standpoint, I saw God work in my actual life. Like there was real, tangible things that happened that were absolutely out of the realm of possibility. And it taught me that, I have no control over anything I don't have control over. If you hear what I'm saying,
That's a fact.
right? That sounds like
Right.
a Yogi Berra thing,
Right.
but if you see what I'm saying, and you know what I'm saying, it's like
Mhm.
I don't have control over anything I can't control. So I have to control what I can and rely on God for the rest. And
Right.
he came through stunningly, brilliantly.
Right.
There's no reason why going through the year we did, the year we started this show, February 2023, there's absolutely no reason why this show should exist. It's all been God, 1000%. So,
Well, you were there.
well, I was there. I was there, but man, there was also, I think it was in April or May. I had this weird neurological thing where, um, I, I mean, we'll go through it offline, but it was so strange. Um, I was in the hospital and the neurosurgeon asked me to count backwards by fives from 100, and I I stopped in the 80s, not by fives, by threes or fours. I can't remember, but I stopped in the 80s, the high 80s. Everything went gray. Like I can't explain it, but
Mhm.
my thoughts, everything just went gray. It was like a wall of gray, like a storm, and I couldn't think of anything. And I looked at him and I looked at my wife and I started crying. I was like, I make my living talking. Like this is how I make my living.
And I can't count.
And I can't and what was funny? I would I would be thinking about something. I would be thinking about what I had to say and I would forget it and I would lose my train of thought like you wouldn't believe. And I actually, when I interviewed Mike Honeycutt, if people watch that interview, now that they know this, they might be able to. I watch that and I see someone struggling because
Right.
I was really struggling. But through all of this, it was the Lord that got us through. But I I'm telling you, I think we got a little bit of time to get it right. I think that when we just decide that we have no control over what we can't control and
No.
surrender, you'd be surprised as to what happens. And I love what you've said this entire time, man. Um, and not hyperbole or I'll do not a joke, not a joke. People really do need to work with you because um, the solutions you bring are real
Mhm.
and they come from a place. I mean, you and I have gone through. recessions, layoffs, downturns. We've gone through all of it. We can see what's happening. We can see what's coming. And you will, and it all boils down to hiring, who you're going to hire, how many you're going to hire, and what you're hiring for. But what we have, I think, mastered, especially you are far better than me, is this idea of longevity. You have so many people that are 20 years into their career at the same company. That is something to hang your hat on. It is amazing. So
it's backwards.
Right. Oh, I love that. Put that up to the camera. Put that up to the camera. Wait, you're okay. Okay, go. There you go. You know what? Let me see.
It's backwards.
There you go. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do. Oh, there it is. QR code right there. Right there. Oh, I love this.
Got it?
Entoo, Entoo security.com. Talent acquisition brought to you by Entoo Talent. Go to that. I'm gonna have to put all. I forgot to do that last time. I'll put all your links in the bio. But Entoo, Entoo Talent. You got to work with Mark and put that QR code back up because I want to make sure that we get the clip of that. Okay, let me do that. One hire can change everything. Truer words never spoken. Guys, there you go. Entoo. Well, Mark, I could talk about this all day. I just, you are amazing. I appreciate you more than you know. And to
anybody watching, I'll wear better shirts next time. I'll try to be professional and stuff.
I'll try to be professional, but
yes, I'll try.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't anymore. I'm just like, you know what? This shirt is $100 t-shirt. That's all I gotta say. It's a shimmery
this one
shirt.
Isn't.
Guys, listen. Go to entootalent.com. I just love that. I love the fact that people they're starting to get hired again, and they really have stories of triumph and out of tragedy. Really, that's all we have. It doesn't matter who's in that office. It doesn't matter what's going on. Chaos all around us. If we can control ourselves, then we know we're gonna have the victory at the end of the day. Mark, thank you so much for coming on once again. Now we're gonna have to book a part 3. Got to book a part 3.
I enjoy it. Okay, you give me more ideas. We'll be talking for hours.
Brother, that's the point, man. That is the point. I love this.
So let's talk about that gap on your resume. How about that one?
Oh my God.
Right? Absolutely. Don't even. The next time.
That's another hour.
It is.
Okay. The next time. Okay. So we'll so I'm on the road. Actually, when this airs, I'm going to be on the road. So let's get that done. Gosh, we're in the middle of July already.
Figure something out in August.
Yeah, we'll do first week of August. But or anyway, we'll figure. Guys, listen. For Jane's Physical Therapy, White Husky Films, Entoo Talent. And I have a feeling that Entoo is going to be mentioned on this show quite often. Listen, for Mark, for all of us, for Courtney Turek, Marcus Ogden, Corey Jackson, Mark Licke, Entoo Talent, White Husky Films, Jane's Physical Therapy, know this, that we love you and God bless you. And let his face shine upon you and give you great peace. Be excellent to yourself, be excellent to each other, and we will see you next week. Go to, one more time, Mark, where's that card? Get that QR code right there. one hire can change everything. All right, guys.
Boom.
Talk to you soon.